Welcome back to another Mission Possible tutorial. In this video I'm going to be teaching you a little bit about Google Forms, and I'm going to give you a brief introduction on how to create a Google form and some of the uses for them. Just click on Create and go down to Form to get started. And the first screen that's going to pop up is for you to choose a title and a theme. So you can title this form let's ask it to be a student survey, if this is something you might want to use at the beginning of the year. And then you can choose the theme of how you'd like it to look. Do you want it to have some books on it? Do you want gingerbread men, fish? I mean, there's just all kinds of choices. Christmas time, wedding cakes, and so on and so forth. There are more choices once you're in the form itself. So let's just choose these books here, this classic books, and say OK. And it's going to bring us into the edit screen for the form. And so one thing I want to point out here is at the top that you always want to require Calvary Christian Academy login to view this form and automatically collect the respondent's Calvary Christian Academy username if you're using the form for students. If you're using the form with parents or anyone outside of our Calvary Christian Academy Google Apps domain, you would want to uncheck these boxes, and then it will confirm to you, are you sure you don't want to require sign-in, and it will make it accessible outside of the domain. And so I'm going to go ahead and cancel out of that for now, but that's where you would uncheck if you wanted the form to be shared with people outside of our domain. So we can just start by typing in our first question here. The first thing that you might want to ask the student is their name. And the name, of course, would not be a multiple choice question. It would just be a short text. And we can make that a required question. Now, for each question, you have the opportunity to click on the Edit button, duplicate. If you're doing a similar question, like a similar scaled question or a similar grid or a similar check from the following choices, you could duplicate and then just change the instructions for that. And if you want to delete a question, you would just tap that box right there. So when you're finished, you're going to click on Done. And from there, you have the opportunity to add an additional item. So obviously we need more than just the name. We might ask them, what did you do this summer? Or what was the highlight of your summer? And that would be more of a paragraph choice. And you can see it would give them a longer answer. We're going to make that required as well. And we can say done on that one. Then we could add another quick question. Choose from the following. And make this a multiple choice. I stayed in Florida this summer. I stayed in Florida this summer. I visited another state, and I went to another country. That could be a multiple choice answer. And again, we want to require this question. Most of the time we want to require something unless there's various reasons why you might want to have it be optional. You notice when I tap on required, this little red asterisk shows up next to the question. If I uncheck that, the asterisk goes away after it saves, and it's not a required question. So we can say done on there, and you notice that that popped up as a multiple choice question. One final question just for our sample here. Rate your summer. And you could have them then do a scale here and say that it's from scale from 1 to 5. You could choose from 1 to 10, whichever applies there. And you can say it was so boring or best summer ever, and have that be a choice there. And you can see that it gives them a scale very similar to the one that you see when you rate the Mission Possible missions from 1 to 10. And so that's how I've created, if you haven't noticed yet, it's a Google form that you're submitting whenever you do the feedback for me at the end. Now, one other choice that you have here is that for the confirmation page they receive, you can decide what you want them to see. So as you all know, I have it left generic, your response has been recorded. But for a student, you might say, thanks for doing the bell ringer. Now open your textbook to page 155 and read section 1. You could type your instructions for class there if you had started your class off with a bell ringer form. And so I would suggest that you edit that as necessary. That's the page that they'll see when they press submit. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and click on send form, and it's going to bring me the link to share. And you can just go ahead and press Command C to copy that link and email that to your students, or right from here you could go ahead and email, like I showed you in the last section, we could email this to History Block 1, and when they come in, maybe all that we've written on the board is check your email and complete the form that I sent you. So something like that could definitely work if and when you're assured that every student has a device to use in class, but could also be done for homework. So you could say for homework, fill out the form that I sent you to your email, and they could do that from home on any device as well. So that's how that works. Now, the response destination is your next choice, and so it's going to say, it's going to create a spreadsheet called Student Survey, the name of the form, and then it's going to name it Responses. So on your Google Drive list, you're going to see the form that looks like this, and you're going to see the spreadsheet that looks like this. Okay, and I'm going to click Always Create a New Spreadsheet because I want my responses to go to a spreadsheet and all the time, and we're going to say Create. All right, so from there we can go now and view the live form and see what it's going to look like to a student who's going to take it. All right, so there is the form, and you notice the titles at the top. It asks for their name, a paragraph for their summer, the multiple choice, the rating, and if we go ahead and fill this out, let's see, I'm going to fill that out. I stayed in Florida, and this was a pretty good summer. I'm going to give it a 4, and I'm going to say submit. Here's where the student will see the response. Your response has been recorded. And from there, now we can go back to the student survey, and you'll notice that next to responses here now, it lists a 1, that one person has filled out the form. Under this responses tab, you also have some other choices. You can choose whether you're accepting responses on the form. This is very useful if you're giving a test or a quiz on the form, and once everybody has submitted them, you can uncheck that. And if they tried to take the form from the link that you sent them in the email, it would say this form is no longer accepting responses. So that's what that is for, the check mark there. You could view a summary of your responses once you have your whole class's answers there. You could view the responses in the spreadsheet, and so on and so forth. You also have some tools here that you can do some other things here along the way. You can insert items, images, other things into the survey. You can go from here to view the live form the same way that you can do it from right here. And you can also view and change the theme from here. So we had chosen this theme with the books, and let's see when we view the live form if that, yeah, I'm surprised that usually has books up there on top of it. Let's see if we choose a different theme, what it's going to do. I'm just playing around with this here a little bit. View the theme. Let's say we want it to be this Argyle form here. When we go to the live form there we see a change to the theme. There's the Argyle. It changed the text, font, and color and made it all look cool. for that Argyle theme. So there you can change that from the view menu or even from right here on the theme, and you can choose to have that always pop up when you have a new form or not. If we wanted to change it to white poppies, you could double click there and view the live form, and now it's in nice muted colors with the poppies behind it. So several choices there on how you want your actual live form to look. Okay, so let's go ahead and view responses, and you'll notice that it fills into a spreadsheet here with the timestamp that the student, which was me, submitted it, the name because I filled it in, the questions are listed right across the top with their responses listed here, and those would populate there and fill out along the way. So that's very helpful. From here in the response spreadsheet, you can go back to edit the form or go to the live form. You can also from here, this is what I was looking for on the other one, under tools, you can change your notification rules so that you have it give you an email right away when someone submits a form, or you can have it send you a daily digest. So for instance, on the Mission Possible forms, I have it send me an email of a daily digest every day that there is a user who submits a form, and then it notifies me that changes have been made on a particular mission so that I can go in and update your Eagle Feathers. So you can choose to do that from the responses spreadsheet there. And you can also edit and manipulate the data and even grade the test or quiz from this. That's a future mission. I'll show you how to do that in a later mission, but I wanted you to see how to create just a basic form. So let me show you real quickly a few of the things that I've done. One of the forms that I have here was a student device survey. And if we click on it here, you'll notice the responses that kids gave me. That had some devices given to them to pilot, and if I click on form here from the spreadsheet, I can go to the live form so that you see what it was. So I gave them this survey. Give me your name, were you given an iPad or a MacBook Air, how helpful has that device been, a couple of multiple choice questions for them. Here's one that's check from a list that allows you to give them a question that they can select more than one answer to. How did you use your device most at school? How often did you use your device at home, and how? And then I gave them a couple of paragraphs here. Greatest challenge, greatest accomplishment, another little multiple choice, and finally any other comments that you might have. And then they press submit, and it went right to that form. And again, it has all of my questions here as the form creator, and it gives me all of their answers. Now, when I go ahead and go on form here and say, so show summary of responses, it'll give me a little spreadsheet. Any item that is graphable will go ahead and graph out the students' responses and tell me how many students answered what. And then the longer answer questions will go ahead and give me their paragraph answers right here in the form, and that is a really cool way to view the responses from your form as well. So that's a little highlight of how to create a basic form. Certainly more advanced things are coming soon. Let's see if there's one other one that I might be able to show you here. I know that, hang on one second. Okay, I found what I was looking for. Here's a form that I did for Social Studies Department lunch orders. And I just created a very simple form that asked their first and last name and what would you like to order, so that I would have a spreadsheet of this to go ahead and email the grill ahead of time for what everybody's order was. And you can see that it populated with their name and what they wanted. And if I go to the live form, this is what this one looked like. Give me your name, what would you like to order for our department lunch, thank you for your response, and I put a little note in here. Isn't this cool? All of the answers go to a spreadsheet, and then I can send it on to the grill. Remind me to show you how to use the Google Forms sometime, and here I am showing how to use Google Forms. It's a really cool way. I've done that same type of thing with my 6th grade team lunches. So the live form for that one looked like this, and was just another look to getting the team meeting orders for the week. Will you be attending our team meeting? Yes or no? Would you like me to place an order for you? Yes or no? And put your lunch order in here and then submit. So those are some ways to use forms, and I'll see you soon.